Why do TV quiz shows have such an enduring legacy? And what is it so special about the genre itself, do you think?
I think it's because a whole family can join in. I think it's because you can sit at home and be clever. And if you've got a good quiz show, once you start watching, it's very difficult not to watch to the end.
James, is that the key, that we're all joining in, we can join in a kind of almost virtual way?
Kids and teenagers are watching it with their parents, which is quite a rare thing to do. But I also think it's about the familiarity. When Pointless isn't on at 5:15, there's uproar, and the BBC get more complaints about that than many other things. So it's something that you can come back to day after day. You know the format, you know probably what's going to happen, but it might just change each day, and that's what brings you back.
Joe, you've worked on specific quiz shows, and now you're kind of, effectively in charge of commissioning them daytime, Channel 4. So are channels aware of the importance, they must be, of just how important they are and how pissed off people would be if they're not on every week or every day or whatever people use?
For schedulers, for controllers and for commissioners, they're a way you can define a channel, You know what a channel is by what quizzes are on it. And I think it's a way of putting people on the telly, which people love to see themselves reflected. And they bring you massive audiences. And so, of course, that's ultimately what we want to do, is drive audiences to our shows.
Judith, were you a fan of this type of show?
General quizzes in general?
Of general quizzes before you applied to go on Millionaire? Was it something you enjoyed watching anyway?
Well, sometimes, not particularly, have to say. And I think people watch the highbrow ones, University Challenge, Mastermind, things like that, because it's rather like watch the same reasons as people watch sport. There are people being really brilliant. And, perhaps you can be brilliant too.
Middle brow or low? Where would you place Millionaire in the brow?
Well, Millionaire, the reason I went on Millionaire was because it was huge sums of money and quite easy questions.
Quiz shows evolve, though, don't they? Let's talk about The Weakest Link. Your persona was so key to the success of that show, wasn't it? So it's almost unthinkable to have anyone else presenting it from the start.
Well, I think if you've worked in a newspaper newsroom, that's how people talk to each other. It's very irreverent, and that's what I was used to. And also, although people said later that was a terrible risk to take, to be horrible, I didn't really think of that. I just thought it was a bit more original. It was a great deal funnier. I thought, normally the host goes in and says hello, hi, and right from the beginning I knew it was important not to make friends with anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. How important is the host, though, for you, when you're thinking of people for your different shows? Is that a difficult process?
I think the host is obviously absolutely crucial and could probably take a good show and make it a great show. That will be the thing that will, in the end, make the difference. Equally, I think when you look at how shows do this sort of international journey that they do, it shows that different hosts bring different things and that feel, culturally right for whichever country you're in. So I think in the end, it's sort of building blocks. You've got to have a great format, but the host in the end will be the thing that really makes the show special, or particularly make it cut through with an audience.
Hosts can bring an audience as well. So you look at Danny Dyer on The Wall, he's bringing an audience to a show who maybe are not going to watch a quiz on a Saturday night.
Have you worked on shows that are slow burns, though, that start out maybe as not being instant hits, and then but slowly over time, through word of mouth and slowly gathering media attention, become much bigger than they were?
We usually say it takes about 3 series for a daytime quiz to land, and sometimes I think channels are just a bit too quick to kill ideas because people need a habit. I think we sometimes get it wrong. We go a bit overcomplicated.
Pointless, I think, didn't come back. It did 30 episodes.
Wow.
It was on BBC Two, but it showed enough growth in its last week or so of transmission that I think, in that word of mouth way, people go, actually watch this show. It's really funny. The game's clever, and you've got Xander and Richard, and they've got a thing going on because that was developing over that time as well. And so it came back and did a second series, third series, and then suddenly it just went from a nice show that people talked about a bit to a really big show.
What are commissioners and channels looking for when it comes to quiz shows?
Ultimately, you just want people to notice a new quiz. As I said before, it's really hard to launch a new quiz, especially daytime ones. There's a lot of them, and the ones that we've got at the moment are really potent still. So something that stands out, something that's got a format that at least tries to do something different.
I think we have run out of time, so I'd just like to thank the fantastic panel, Judith, Joe, James and Anne, for their incredible insights. And I hope you've learned a few things, and maybe good luck with your formats, and maybe we'll all become millionaires with our quiz show formats one day. Thank you so much.
Thank you for